It is very hard for archaeologists to explain how that was done using purely leverage and mechanical advantage.
For over a century, archaeologists accepted that ancient Egyptians shaped granite by pounding it with harder stones, a slow, manual process thought to explain mysterious scoop marks in the Aswan quarries. But what if this familiar explanation misses something critical? What if the precision of those marks points to a technology far beyond what ancient tools could achieve? Recent AI analysis has uncovered puzzling irregularities in the quarry's surface, suggesting the use of advanced cutting methods with mechanical precision and microscopic signatures that defy traditional explanations. Could the secrets hidden in these stones rewrite history and reveal lost knowledge or civilizations? The Granite Quarry Mystery. Beneath the blazing sun of southern Egypt, the granite quarries of Aswan hold a silent secret carved deep into their ancient bedrock. These immense monoliths, harder than steel and nearly impervious to ordinary tools, bear curious marks. Smooth, curved scoops etched with uncanny precision. For over a century, these strange impressions puzzled archaeologists because they didn't fit the narrative of rugged manual labor. Instead of rough, uneven pits that pounding stones would leave behind, the marks appear uniform, precise, and strikingly consistent across vast surfaces. Among the most famous sites is the unfinished obelisk, a gigantic granite column still attached to its bedrock, weighing over 1,000 tons if completed. Surrounding it are trenches lined with these identical scoop marks, their arcs flowing in rhythmic patterns that almost resemble waves or tracks. Researchers who physically touched these surfaces noted how smooth and polished they felt, contradicting the expectation of fractured and brittle stone surfaces from brute force impact. The very existence of these marks challenges the assumption that repetitive pounding could have created such a refined texture. Traditional theology of archaeology held that ancient Egyptians crafted granite by striking it repeatedly with dolerite stones, harder rocks capable of fracturing granite through pounding. Experiments over the years tried to replicate this method, showing it was possible, though painfully slow and inefficient. Still, the theory seemed logical and widely accepted because the Egyptians lacked known metal tools, let alone mechanized instruments. The dolerite pounding explanation provided a simple story, fitting the technology believed available, safely tucked away in familiar territory. Yet, the physical evidence whispered contradictions. The granite's scoop marks did not resemble the chaotic pattern of breaks expected from raw, hammer-like impacts. Instead, they spanned consistent widths and depths, appearing almost too perfect to be mere hand labor. This discrepancy lingered as an unsolved anomaly, often overlooked or explained away as experimental failures or misinterpretations. The true nature of these scoop marks remained hidden beneath layers of assumption and unchallenged orthodoxy. Adding to the puzzle, some scoop marks appear where human workers could scarcely reach, such as narrow shafts or near vertical surfaces. These locations further strain the traditional view that they were made by workers wielding heavy stones in cramped positions. How could thousands of blows be delivered so precisely in such difficult terrain without mechanical assistance? The odd placement suggests the possibility of more than human limitation and implies mastery over the cutting process that defied simple manual techniques. For decades, the question remained dormant. What truly made these precise scoops? Without a compelling alternative, the dolerite pounding story persisted. Few dared to challenge the established narrative for lack of evidence or plausible explanations. But as technology advanced into the 21st century, new methods emerged to probe mysteries the human eye and hand alone could not solve. It took fresh eyes and new tools to awaken this ancient enigma. That awakening arrived with Grok AI, an artificial intelligence system tasked with looking deeply and impartially at high-resolution images of these quarry marks. Free from human bias and theoretical constraints, Grok analyzed thousands of patterns, seeking connections invisible to prior researchers. What it uncovered would shake the foundation of archaeological assumptions and force a reconsideration of what ancient Egyptians truly knew, and how they made granite yield to their will. The quarry's enigmatic scoop marks had endured centuries of silence, but in 2024, their story was ready to unfold in a way no one could have anticipated. The evidence hinted at a deeper secret lurking within the granite itself, a secret that challenges everything we think we know about ancient technology. The marks are not only a puzzle of physical technique, but invite a broader investigation into tools, materials, and knowledge, questions waiting to be rigorously examined through modern science and AI's analytical power, limits of traditional explanations. The dolerite pounding hypothesis has long served as the accepted explanation for shaping granite in ancient Egypt. The idea is simple. Workers would smash harder stones repeatedly against granite surfaces to chip away the rock in small increments. While experimental archaeology confirmed that granite could be fractured this way, the results of such pounding bore little resemblance to what we see in Aswan's quarries. The pits created by dolerite strikes are rough, irregular, and fractured, lacking any hint of the smooth curvature found on the quarry walls. Furthermore, the scoop marks measured across the quarry are astonishingly consistent. Grok AI's analysis revealed size variations of less than 5% and spacing between scoops varying by less than 3%. Such uniformity defies the natural inconsistency one expects from human labor, introducing systemic precision that sounds more like machine calibration than manual hammering. The same arcs repeat over large areas, implying the use of a cutting radius rather than the natural, varied swings of a human arm. The analysis of entry angles for these scoops shows that additional physical contradictions emerge. The cuts maintain a constant slant because they operate according to mechanical control instead of matching worker movement and position changes. The overlapping patterns of these scoops create a design which resembles a wave or motion path that machines use to operate their tools with precise control over speed and pressure. The manual work process fails to create perfect results because it requires repetition through multiple affected regions, which count in the thousands. The main issue exists in two distinct parts, which include both the visual appearance of the marks and their locations. The quarry contains vertical walls, together with narrow shafts and deep pits, which made it impossible for workers to use dolerite stones in their work. The narrow or acute spaces hindered any meaningful swinging or pounding action, yet the scoop marks persist there too. The tool which created these marks must have functioned independently because it created marks in areas which people could not reach. The dolerite pounding technique required researchers to start their work by carving trenches around the unfinished obelisk, which took them almost 30 years to finish their project. The extremely slow progress and poor finish quality challenge the notion that this was the typical or intended method for large-scale quarrying. The process becomes inefficient because existing methods create extreme difficulty, yet research shows that an unknown alternative method might exist. The dolerite theory faces increased challenges through microscopic examination, which delivers its findings. The scanning electron microscope shows granite particles which exhibit spiral grooves and small areas of melting because they underwent rotational cutting and localized heating. The signatures do not match cold, brittle percussion, but they actually show friction and abrasion, which differ from basic pounding. The stone contains trace materials, which include diamond dust and corundum that modern cutting and grinding processes use. Yet these materials became impossible to obtain or use during the Bronze Age, according to standard historical accounts. The AI system conducts an unbiased evaluation, which undermines the entire basis of the pounding theory. The evidence leads to mechanical assistance through tools which use rotation and abrasives, and unknown energy methods that ancient technology researchers have not yet discovered. The dolerite pounding story presents a believable explanation, which fails to explain the detailed and exact quarry marks because they require more extraordinary solutions. The traditional explanation of these marks remains incomplete because its current form needs further development. The evidence indicates that people used advanced methods which exceed our current understanding of hand tools for multiple years, and this discovery requires further exploration of unknown technologies. The next chapter unfolds as Grok AI dives deeper than ever before, decoding hidden patterns and pushing beyond human limitations of pattern recognition. Grok AI's analytical breakthrough. Grok AI set out to study the Aswan quarry marks using high-resolution imagery free from existing assumptions. It analyzed thousands of scoop marks, measuring their shape, spacing, depth, and angles, and quickly identified something unusual: an extraordinary level of consistency across the site. This kind of uniformity is difficult to achieve through manual labor alone, immediately challenging traditional views of ancient quarrying. Grok discovered hidden information through his investigations which could not be seen without using special tools. The electron microscope showed that the scoops contained weak spiral patterns, which demonstrated a rotational cutting method instead of basic hammering. The spirals found in the material show a connection to rotary tools, which include drills and mills, but these devices never existed during ancient Egyptian times. The granite showed evidence of local melting, which scientists believe happened because of high-speed friction or advanced cutting techniques that produce extreme heat. The chemical analysis provided additional information. The stone contained traces of abrasive materials, which included corundum, together with diamond-like particles at a microscopic level. The substances serve as industrial cutting tools because their extreme hardness makes them suitable for use. The presence of these materials shows that people used techniques which exceeded the capabilities of copper and bronze tools, but they used methods which resemble modern diamond-tipped cutting and ultrasonic abrasion. The quarry contained deep pits and shafts, which Grok mapped, showing that these features matched the underground fault lines and mineral veins which existed beneath the surface. The workers employed advanced extraction techniques because they understood the stone's internal structure, which enabled them to obtain high-quality blocks without creating any fractures. The current geological surveying methods provide more accurate results compared to the trial-and-error methods, which people believe ancient builders used. The quarry layout demonstrates that the designers created their plans. The cutting patterns appear designed to reduce stress within the granite and maximize usable material, similar to modern engineering strategies. The results show technical competence, which combines with a complete understanding of how materials function. Grok AI failed to find any physical artifacts, but it created a unified pattern from the details which had been previously ignored. The three forms of evidence, which include mechanical precision, microscopic signatures, and geological awareness, demonstrate a technological level which matches contemporary industrial capabilities. The discoveries create multiple complex problems. If such advanced methods existed, why is there no clear record of them? The Aswan quarry functions as a strong historical reminder that our knowledge about ancient technology remains incomplete because it represents either lost technological knowledge or an unidentified cultural heritage. And as the mysteries deepen, the implications ripple far beyond stone cutting, inviting us to rethink entire chapters of history and human ingenuity, geological and structural insights. The granite quarries of Aswan reveal more than scale. They suggest a deep understanding of the stone itself. Narrow test pits plunge 40 to 50 feet into solid granite, only a few feet wide, yet carved with remarkable precision. Creating such deep, clean shafts in tight spaces would be extremely difficult with simple hand tools, raising doubts about traditional explanations. These pits are also strategically placed. Grok AI found that many align with underground fault lines, mineral veins, and natural weaknesses in the rock. This indicates that quarry workers knew where to cut for optimal results, avoiding fractures and maximizing usable stone. Such insight resembles modern geological surveying, far beyond what is typically attributed to Bronze Age methods. Some shafts even curve as they descend, following the stone's internal grain or mineral patterns. This suggests workers adjusted their approach based on conditions beneath the surface, not just what they could see. Whether through experience, subtle surface clues, or unknown techniques, this level of adaptation points to advanced practical knowledge of geology. The cuts demonstrate their powerful visual impact because they maintain their identical appearance throughout their entire length. The walls maintain their smooth and even appearance because they endure both depth and dust in their restricted space. The manual work process demonstrates that its roughness should increase with time. However, the work quality remains constant. The system demonstrates a cutting method which provides both operational stability and precise results throughout its entire range of difficult operational scenarios. The concept receives additional support from microscopic data, which shows its existence. The presence of spiral grooves together with localized heat marks indicates that workers operated rotational tools instead of using basic hammering techniques. Traces of abrasives like corundum or even diamond-like materials have also been identified, substances associated with advanced cutting processes, not typical Bronze Age tools. The quarry layout itself reflects careful engineering. The cutting patterns, which create the stone breaks, have been designed to control stress distribution throughout the stone material, which results in block preservation. This extraction method uses material science principles to establish modern scientific standards, which demonstrate advanced planning capabilities that ancient workers did not achieve. The most unexpected aspect of this site contains a substantial indentation, which researchers previously believed to be an ancient harbour. Grok AI's analysis suggests it may actually be the void left by removing a single massive granite block, possibly weighing thousands of tons. The discovery of this information would create transportation capabilities which exceed anything documented from ancient times. This unexpected sophistication leads to an even more profound mystery when paired with discoveries about the quarry's timeline and cultural context. Timeline and cultural implications. Beyond the striking physical evidence, the quarry's cultural layers add a deeper mystery that could reshape Egyptian history. Prehistoric-style red ochre paintings depicting birds, boats, and geometric symbols appear across the granite surfaces. Crucially, some of these artworks were painted over the precise scoop marks, proving the quarrying came first. Based on stylistic comparisons with Sahara rock art, these paintings likely date from 4000 to 6000 BCE, well before dynastic Egypt. If the scoop marks predate this era, then advanced granite cutting techniques may be thousands of years older than previously believed. This raises the possibility that a forgotten culture achieved technological capabilities that later Egyptians inherited or attempted to replicate. It challenges the long-standing view of Egypt as the sole originator of monumental stonework, suggesting a deeper, largely unknown legacy. Grok AI's degradation progression analysis adds another layer. By comparing cutting precision across different sections, it was found that the oldest work is the most refined, while later sections become increasingly crude. This reverses the expected pattern of steady technological improvement and instead points to a decline in skill, possibly caused by social disruption, environmental shifts, or lost knowledge over time. The area, which shows ties to dynastic Egypt, shows evidence of Egyptian connections through its hieroglyphs and its copper and bronze tool marks. The deepest cuts, which show the highest accuracy, remain unmarked because their production needs methods which existed outside of Bronze Age knowledge. The gap between these 2 points proves that ancient quarry workers had acquired skills which modern people, together with their tools, have lost to history. Multiple explanations for the phenomenon appear. Egyptians developed advanced tools which existed in limited quantities according to one theory. The second argument states that a pre-dynastic civilization created these techniques during the Saharan Green period, after which their existence disappeared. The third option proposes that technological development reached its peak before the Old Kingdom period, which people think marks a time of progress. All of these interpretations challenge conventional archaeology. The missing chapters show how people created new things while passing knowledge through complex processes, and they add to our understanding of cultural interruptions that standard histories fail to show. The quarry evidence blends technology, geology, and art in ways that resist simple explanations. The story of how ancient Egyptians or their predecessors cut granite with precision remains unresolved despite ongoing debate. The research creates an entry point that leads to a complicated historical account of human progress, which dates back to ancient times. Such revelations urge us to listen again to what the stones are telling us and to reconsider the origins of human ingenuity, challenging archaeological assumptions. The evidence highlighted by Grok AI calls for a serious rethink of long-held views on ancient Egyptian technology. The precision and uniformity of quarry marks appear too advanced for the hand tools traditionally associated with the Bronze Age. This raises a fundamental problem. The accepted toolkit of the time cannot fully explain the level of accuracy seen in the granite, suggesting that something is missing from the historical record. One explanation is that the Egyptians may have used advanced tools or techniques that no longer exist. These methods could have been rare, reserved for major projects, or made from materials that did not survive over time. If so, entire aspects of their technological capability may have been lost simply because the physical evidence disappeared. The theory suggests that ancient quarry work demonstrates its most advanced form before the time of dynastic Egypt. The Sahara region supported its highest population numbers during past ages, when an unknown civilization developed advanced technologies that Egyptians later inherited, yet failed to master completely. This would shift the narrative, framing Egypt not just as an innovator, but as a preserver of older knowledge. The research results create new evidence, which contradicts the belief that technological development advances through continuous progress. The data shows a decrease in precision, which occurred after the initial measurement period. The knowledge base needs to expand because the current evidence shows that people have lost understanding of things, which leads to historians needing to rethink their understanding of how societies develop over periods. Grok AI's analysis has unveiled a profound mystery hidden in the granite of Aswan, precision cutting that defies the limits of known ancient technology. Whether lost tools, forgotten civilizations, or mistaken timelines are responsible, it's clear that our understanding of ancient Egypt is far from complete. If you found this exploration fascinating, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that challenge what we think we know about history. Thank you for watching.